Okay, please, you can take it.
Oh, you want to take it?
Let me just take that real quickly. The whole emergence of the YEP program was because of the realization that there was unemployment, a lot of people were graduates, and yet we found that there was a critical demographic segment that was being overlooked, high school leavers, that also needed to tackle some things and so emphasize blue-collar kind of jobs. We also understood that formal employment was not going to happen with the way the economy was going on. And so technical and vocational education became the focus for us, but to do it differently. And so ensure that, and that's what led to YEP in that regard. And so when we started, we also, and one of the things we're very good at PIND is to learn as you go along. We're not afraid to pilot, fail, and learn from them. Lots of models that have been proven and are now being scaled up and continue to be scaled up. Once we started with YEP, the first pilot was in 3 states, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Abia. It soon became apparent that because of the economy, a lot of those we partnered with could not place the people we wanted in jobs. COVID hit in 2020, so that even set people back. And so what's going to happen? We didn't want them to be like others that will be trained and dumped in the market and so become willing hands for militancy and things of that nature. We also knew there was a malaise back then where they would give starter packs and people will not use them, rather they will sell them as soon as they graduate and just go on with their lives. We were clear from day one that you will not get starter packs from us, but you will get transformational skills, knowledge, and an ecosystem of support with all of the likes of these people. But to be responsive, we decided we will help them with seed funding, but not starter packs. And then we will have the likes of Mwambara and co. help them to develop business plans, and there'll be a pitching contest. The ones who succeed, either as individual entrepreneurs or consortiums, will be the ones that will get seed funding. But beyond what we would help them with, and we have, in another couple of months, that number will have grown to 250 of those who got seed funding. Beautiful thing there, and changing the narrative about the Niger Delta, is that with support and good preparation, these guys have gone ahead to succeed with our funding, which ranged between 250 and 1 million, starting from 2021. It keeps growing now because of the value. To not only be able to do that, but they're also leveraging funding by getting access to funding from other sources, so at least at a ratio of 1-to-1. Default rate or failure rates of enterprises that started is well below 5%, which is above industry benchmark, because startups are expected to fail up to a particular level. And we have some of them in the ICT sector, because that's one of the skills, who are not migrating to Lagos or Silicon Valley in Yaba, but who are operating out of Aba and Port Harcourt, and they have clients in Europe and in the US, and helping to change that migration to Lagos, as well as changing the narrative, and they are earning in Forex in that regard. So that's how we have learned along the way. The Challenge Fund was not something we wanted to do, but we had to emphasize that. And then the likes of them continue to help them access available funding, grants, and seed capital in the system. Of course, they are challenged with high interest rates, but if they can get some patient capital, they can get some grants, they continue to succeed, and they are helping to change the narrative about the Niger Delta being all about militancy and restiveness.
Yeah, thank you so much. You are the Executive Director of PIND Foundation, so I will follow up with the question I wanted to give you initially. Yeah, youth unemployment is an issue, but even though we are trying what you can do as a foundation, what role should the policymakers and industry leaders play in addressing this issue? What have been your thoughts over the years?
Thank you for that question, very excellent one. From the beginning when we designed the program, and in all that, that's the YEP, but also with our market systems development program, which looks at agricultural value chains and small businesses, as well as access to energy, we've always had one thing in mind. We are facilitators. Government is the biggest entity that can help to scale things up. So we undertake a lot of advocacy with government entities, and because we are designed on partnerships, you see the first name in our name is Partnership Initiatives. We are always at the center, convening and linking partners together. So if it's around policy, we undertake advocacy and work with them to ensure that everything we do, we check and see, is there an existing policy around this? Is there existing guideline? Is there existing regulation? If there is, how relevant is it to current developments? If there isn't, how do you develop one? So we've worked with many state governments to develop youth policies, agric policies, gender and social inclusion policies, and so on, to have them in place. And then also help people to develop long-term planning so that one governor leaving and another one coming does not take them from going east to going west, but rather there can be some continuity, and you bring a multi-stakeholder role in it to ensure accountability. We've done that with about 3 or 4 states now. So that's the way we look at that. Curriculum development, you partner with the National Institute. You bring in technical experts to contribute to their own quota so that you're not giving people substandard stuff, but you're giving what is certified at the highest level in the country, and they can continue to learn in that regard.
Thank you so much. We're running out of time, but yet I'll still allow to throw in some questions. For the audience, maybe I'll just take one question later on, maybe just one. And let me prepare the panelists. I'll be rounding up very soon. I'll just need one sentence from you, like the final statement before we end this. But let me ask a question from Chiemela, because I think you train people. So what role can vocational training and non-formal education initiatives play in equipping young people? What, from your experience, training them? And what they become after training them? What role?
Okay, so I think, okay, so I'm going to say this quickly. We had a graduate of electrical electronics engineering posted to, a core member posted to organization, and so we wanted to do an installation, and we asked him to get a charge controller. He couldn't identify a charge controller. And this is something that is, prevalent with most of them. So there is a huge gap between what they do in school and what is obtainable in real life. And that is where vocational skills, training come in. So there is skills that are in-demand skills that are industry relevant, what these industries want them to do. But then when they come out from school, and they are not, it's not as though there are no jobs per se, but then most of these industries cannot employ them because they don't have the skills that are relevant to them. So I think that's where vocational skills, come in. Hands-on skills, practical skills, where you do this and do this and do this. So it's either you're repairing this and you're making money from it, or, you're solving real-life problem with skills, not just, theoretical.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm cutting you. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay. So let me ask from Ziga, before I now take one from the audience. What changes are needed in our education system? She mentioned some things. Maybe you also have been thinking about it, maybe based on the people you have been, the MSMEs have been dealing with. What changes are needed in our education systems to better prepare young people for the workforce?
Okay, so just like she said, the huge gap between theory and practice, it's a major challenge. So you find, I'll give a practical example. You find a graduate of crop science coming to the farm, posted, like she mentioned, and he does not know anything about planting in any form. And yet this person sits down and says that there's no job in Nigeria. Now, we also see a scenario where a lot of young people are gravitated towards committing crime or looking for quick money. In fact, I think we were gisting and we said something that a lot of young people right now, they prefer to just make money and die after 5 years. And I don't know where that is coming from. And it's something I think that to a large extent, most of us in this room, we owe the younger generation a responsibility of teaching them, of guiding them, of making them understand that the investment you make today is what you're going to repeat tomorrow. And that's one thing we have to deliberately do. Because I use myself as an example. If you're not investing in yourself, for example, there's nothing you can talk about tomorrow. So acquiring skill is not an option. It's a necessity. Because with the current reality, you can't run any business with the knowledge of 1970-something. It's not going to work. It's not going to fly. And a lot of young people don't understand those dynamics. There's a lot to say, but
I know there's a lot of things to say. So you want them to actually add skills acquisition alongside with their formal education?
It's not just skill. I think the mentality, the attitude, we need to reorient. People need to start saying things and start doing things differently, because the society is not going to get better from what we're seeing. But you need to get better.
Okay, so
as a
individuals,
person.
not the
Yeah.
education sector, individuals. Okay, being somebody from education sector, I have a rhetorical question. I will ask towards the end. You take it home. I'm not going to give an answer. I'm not going to engage anybody on that. But I think after I've analyzed over the years what is happening, but I'll just give that question. So take it up. So let me take a question from the audience. Yes. Sorry, I only take one because of time. Let's prioritize the ladies. Can we clap for her, please? We have so many questions. Well, Akim, we should not take their question. They said no. Okay, so we have to finish. So sorry for that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My name is.
We're not done. We just 3 minutes. We're done. Let's ask a question. Sorry,
okay.
Please.
I am Emmanuel Akinola from Access Tech Innovation. So my question to PIND, according to WHO, we have about 15 to 20%, even in the youthful population, who are persons with disabilities. So in this great empowerment program you're doing, are you deliberately including youths with disabilities in your area?
Fantastic. And if I thought I mentioned it, if I did not, that was remiss of me, pardon me. In everything we do in PIND, not only in the program, but even in the agric ones, in the access to energy ones, and our peace building, we emphasize gender and social inclusion. Young people, especially women and girls, as well as persons with disability. Even though we have a cultural issue in the Niger Delta where people hide disability in many parts of it, but we are very intentional and we have a number of them. If you go on our website or social media handles, you see videos and specific success stories and features about some of those ones. We partner with the National Association for Persons with Disability to be able to source. Sourcing into our programs is very critical, and we're very intentional in that regard.
Thank you so much. So now, okay, you want to add something? But I will allow you to say it in your parting statement. So now let's take your parting statement one by one. Then I can ask my question. I don't want you to answer my question. That's why I'm going to ask it now.
My parting statement would be this. Solaris, as an organization, we've been to over 5 different countries. We've had international recognition. We've raised over 50,000 USD in grant. We currently won a grant agreement with World Bank, worth over 100,000 USD to implement projects across the Niger Delta. And all of this started as a result of what PIND did with us. So I think it's something worthy of emulation. It's something that, other organizations that implement such programs should, emulate and also, imbibe in while implementing their programs. And of course, young persons, I don't see much in the audience, but I think the mindset shift did a lot of work in me. So I think it's something we should embrace. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Emela. Then I'll go to Anziga. One sentence.
So because she said it, I'm also going to give kudos to what PIND is doing. One of the things PIND is doing that is very interesting is systemic change, institutional change. I met PIND in 2014. And in 2014, between 2014 and now, we've done over 5-10 billion in business transactions because of PIN helping us to strengthen the systems we're running. We've run projects across the nation that have involved quite a whole lot of stuff. Why am I trying to say this? We all owe the young generation one thing: education, information to change the systems.
Thank you so much. That's one sentence I was looking for. We all have education and information. Very good. Thank you so much. So back to you, Umamara.
Okay. In parting, I was even going to answer you. We have 3 people who can't hear in our training center now. We had to learn sign language, learn how to communicate with them, and they are already sewing well. They'll be graduating in November. We got them from the People with Disability Center in Delta State. So that is one thing that PIN does, inclusivity of women and people with disability. And though there are so many open sources of learning, one very important thing that the youths need is someone who has gone the path that they have gone, someone who will direct them with all the distraction and make sure that they are accountable years after the training. Like from 2021, I'm still mentoring people who have passed through, because PIN will ask you what happened to somebody that you trained 5 years ago. So we make sure that we are still following them up to 10 years.
Thank you so much. And so over to you, Mr. Tunjidewo, as the CEO. It's your parting statement.
I'll say PIND and partners like this, and there are hundreds of them, are some of the best kept secrets about what's going on in the Niger Delta and around development efforts in Nigeria. Lots of proven models. We don't brag because for each solution, we still have lots more, maybe times 10. But we're here to share with LSETF and a few other people and to invite and say, there are opportunities for you to have social impact in that region. And there are proven models that will affect lives in that region. And even if you're an investor who's looking for commercial, not even social return, there are also opportunities. We have strong convening power to be able to connect you with all of these ones. Over 1 million farmers and businesses affected so far, most of them with improved livelihoods and revenue and income in tens and hundreds of billions. And lots been created, over 45,000 in the last 10 years. There are tons of opportunities, and we are open to partnership and also to help you know that the Niger Delta is open to business and investment. And it's not what you used to think about it. It's a conducive place to be able to achieve all of these things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Investing in young people means we're investing in the future. They are the future, and we need to do that. So I want to thank all my panelists for your contribution. Please clap for them again. Thank you. And to conclude, my question is, and I think it's not only one question, what are the jobs in the country? What will be the future jobs? What do we need to do to prepare people